Memorabilia from political campaigns past, part of one man's very special collection. People collect all sorts of things.
Yes, they do, but one Florida attorney collects political buttons. And as Night Team's Dave Cartoonan reports, his collection goes back to the days of Abe Lincoln.
We show a love of politics in all different ways, but for Jamie Cole, that love is something best worn on your chest. The Fort Lauderdale attorney has a collection that's the envy of political nuts, buttons that go back 2 centuries to before they were even buttons.
This button, which is a William McKinley button from 1896, if you look on the back, it has a little pin, so you would put that just into your shirt. Prior to that time, you had some, that kind of a ceramic type of buttons that attach the same way. You had things like this. This is Grover Cleveland. You would have it's just a coin, really.
You could say he got pricked by the button bug thanks to a fellow campaign worker 3 decades ago.
He had worked on Kennedy's campaign, and he was always telling us war stories. And at the end of our congressional campaign, he gave this to me as a gift, and this was the first button I had.
He's amassed a case full of buttons from every election since, full of names and pictures we all know and remember. Antique shows, gifts, and eBay have filled in a visual history that goes all the way back to 1864 and his most valuable piece, a button with 2 presidents.
This is Abraham Lincoln from 1864, and it has his picture on the back is Andrew Johnson, who was his running mate in 1864, who took his place after he was assassinated. In mint condition, that could be worth thousands of dollars. This one has a couple scratches on it, so it's worth a little bit less.
Some less valuable buttons have stories just as rich.
AuH2O. You know, AU, if you remember your periodic table, is gold, and H2O is water. So this is gold water, 1964.
But through 150 years, Cole insists there's no winning formula to a button. Well, for the most part.
There are a few common threads that weave their way through most presidential campaign buttons, especially in modern times. Red, white, and blue, the candidate's photo. But there are a few that make you wonder, like 1936, Alfred Landon, shaped like a sunflower because he was from Kansas, the sunflower state. He lost to FDR in a landslide.
President Carter was really one of the only ones who used green, which is an interesting color.
Green worked, but only once. But that's more than you can say for some others, known only by the history books.
They tell such a story. You know, each button has its own story behind the history of it.
A nation's entire history that you can always pin down. In Fort Lauderdale, Dave Cartoonan, 7 News.